Okay, hello. It's AsyncAPI community meeting. Welcome everyone. It's Tuesday, 12th of October. As usual, please remember that this meeting is being recorded and it's going to be uploaded to YouTube. So whatever we talk and discuss today, it's going to be public. As usual, when we start the meeting, we don't jump right into the agenda that we agreed upon, because it's mainly a community meeting. So it's good if we know each other and also allow you to ask some questions before we talk about the boring stuff from the agenda. So I see some new faces on the meeting. So if there's anyone who would like to now introduce yourself to the community, please do it. That's the best moment to do it now. Of course, you don't have to do it. You just have an option to do it. Anyone can.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man.
Hi there. Well, nice to meet you guys finally. Well, nice to meet you all, because I was corrected in another community for not using the guys word because we're the only guys. But it's nice to meet you all. Or
nice meeting.
Finally, I'm Nadir Palacios. I'm from Mexico. I participated in a workshop last week to have a contribution. Yeah, it was Alejandra guided us in this workshop. He helped us a lot. Unfortunately, this weekend I had some trouble with, well, some personal trouble, and I couldn't contribute. I couldn't start contributing, but I'm willing to do it and to be more involved into the community. I'm really excited to be part of it, and I made some ideas. I wrote down some ideas in the GitHub, and I'm preparing a first version of this solution, and yeah, I don't know what else to say, but it's really good to be here.
It's awesome. Thanks for introducing yourself. Happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Just to, because you mentioned quite important stuff, that you posted some ideas. So I will quickly also share a link, because that's something new we have here. We enabled just recently discussions in GitHub, and we have a special section like ideas there. So I'm gonna paste a link to the chat so anybody can go and see. We have few ideas already there and some good discussions. So yeah, but again, welcome. Don't worry that you could not contribute over the weekend. We all try to find a good balance here, and also like we're not in rush. So just take your time, learn what we do here, and contribute whenever you feel comfortable. Also, whenever you need, just ask in Slack or on this meeting, and also there are other meetings I'm gonna also mention later that you can join and ask for some help, like guidance, how to contribute. But yeah, welcome. Anyone else would like to introduce yourself?
Sorry, I'm going to stay off video because I'm in the middle of eating lunch, but I'm Deven Phillips. I'm a senior architect with Red Hat Consulting. I have been a contributor and member of the Open API community now for 5 or 6 years, and am looking forward to extending that into AsyncAPI.
Awesome, welcome. And Red Hat is also like, we know Red Hat very well because Red Hat supports our events always. And as far as I know, Red Hat plans to support our next conference that happens in November. So double welcome.
I have definitely been trying to have those conversations with our marketing department that we should support you guys very well for this conference.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else would like to use this opportunity to introduce yourself to the community?
I can briefly. Yeah, I'm Dave. I joined actually full-time AsyncAPI, actually, contributor or whatever you want to call me, a couple of weeks ago. So hopefully you'll see a lot more of me doing some community stuff or some workshops or whatever. At the moment, I'm just, as Lucas kind of says, I'm kind of just taking my time to learn the spec, learn the projects and learn bits and bobs. So hopefully you'll see my face on GitHub in and around things and whatever, yeah. So if you need any help or anything, just reach out and I'll try to help. But yeah, good to meet you all. It's my first community meeting actually, so good to be here.
Welcome. I actually know you in community for long enough to not, I don't even remember that's your first meeting. So yeah, good to have you. Anyone else? We haven't had so many introductions so far, so anyone would like to? Three, two, one. Okay, thanks. If you want, you can do it later after we're done with the agenda items. So I'm gonna send you a link. So the whole agenda is, or maybe actually I can just share my screen. If I choose a right browser. Okay, can you see a GitHub issue?
Yeah.
Awesome. No, because I see Jonas shaking his head. No. Thank you.
That's just wants to confuse you.
Typical. Thank you. So yeah, first two quick updates from my side. Because it's like we have the AsyncAPI hackathon running at the moment, and also a conference in November. So yeah, every 2 weeks I'm giving some updates. So I guess some of you might be interested that we already have one hackathon submission, which might sound like not enough, but that's in my opinion, that's normal. People usually wait until last minute. I know that a few people work on their submissions because I'm not gonna judge the submissions, so I have this luxury that people talk to me and not being afraid that there can be some scam because I can choose their solutions. So I know that people are working on it, but yeah, it's good to know that we already have one submission. If it comes to the conference that is in November, we already have 150 registrations, still without any paid marketing. That's something that we will, I mean, we're still exploring how to best spend money. If we have time, we can continue some discussion we have on Slack with Alejandra about Facebook and if it's worth spending money on Facebook advertisement. But basically it works this way now that we just organically promote conference and grow registrations this way. And I guess we're gonna start some marketing once we have a agenda ready. But yeah, let's see. And let's continue discussion when and how to do it. If it comes to the call for papers, we have already 10 submissions, cool topics like around WebSocket, Socket.io. Then we have folks from serverless workflow spec and that propose a talk about AsyncAPI and serverless workflow. We also have some cloud events related talks, so pretty interesting stuff. Again, from my experience as a speaker, I remember that I always submit last minute. So I guess we're gonna at least double the number. Also because I know from some offline discussions when I push people that some people still want to submit CFP. Deadline is this weekend. And last but not least, the most important, and I have to show the logos, of course, is the Platinum sponsors. So we have already, and I think it's great news, we already have 4 sponsors and all of them are Platinum, which means each paid $5,000 to support the event. And after the additional payments to the host of our account and the payment provider, we have a bit more than $17,000 collected, which means we have a hackathon prizes covered, swags covered, and some initial paid marketing, which is awesome. So thank you a lot to IBM Abli, WSO2, and Solus. Now that's it if it comes to the conference. Any specific questions from your side? Would you like to learn something more? I have some questions, some topics in the chat.
I got a question. What you mentioned the number of signups. Have you got a target in mind? How many people, how many registrations you we'd like to see?
I mean, I personally would like to see as many submissions as we had viewers last year. So last year when we did our online conference, we had around 1K viewers throughout the entire event. Like, you know what I mean? Like some people joined one talk, some other talk, but in total it was 1K. So for me, 1K would be enough. The problem is it's hard for us, at least like I didn't set any target because we did not have registrations last year. It's the first time we do registrations and we do it mainly to understand for next year's where to invest money if it comes to paid marketing. So because last year we had no registrations, we could not really track how advertisement converts into registrations. And this year our tooling allows that. So that's why we even have registrations. Normally we would not have it because it's free event and anybody can access streams.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But I think that like after just sharing tweets and LinkedIn posts, 150, it's registrations. So we had, of course, more visits to the registration links. So more people saw it. So I think it's pretty good. But let's see what marketing does to it.
Cool. Sounds good.
Anybody else has some questions? Okay, cool. So next stuff is just advertisement from my side. Like today we have a community meeting, but tomorrow it's another time for contributor first sessions. We started a contributor first meeting this month, mainly to experiment in October because we have this hackathon. We also have Hacktoberfest. We want to experiment different formats of giving help to the community on first contribution. We do it every week in October, every Wednesday, twice a day in different time zones. You can see all the details in AsyncAPI Google Calendar. It's a stream that is streamed to different accounts that we own, but you can also let me know that you want to join me live, and you can join live, and we can have live discussion. And these meetings are recorded, available on YouTube. So definitely, if you plan your first contribution, you'll have some questions. That's a good opportunity to do it. Any questions?
Yeah, I have just one question.
Yep.
Well, Alejandra shared a list in the workshop. Well, from the workshop we had, Alejandra shared a list for issues. And this list includes the issues that she mentioned. She mentioned what were the best issues that we would fit in, but I reviewed some of the tools, and most of them are in JavaScript, but I would love to know if there's some kind of onboarding for Glee, for example, or some tool that I could contribute with. I mean, if there's any onboarding or they peer onboarding help, that would be great.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why we have those meetings, to actually learn from people what questions they have, what they need from us to create for a good contribution guidelines. And if it comes to Glee, I don't recall any good materials that onboard you to the project, but I do know there is a live stream that Fran did, the creator of Glee, did a few weeks back. It's recorded. I'm gonna try to find it and share with you on Slack and also in the meeting notes. But definitely there is a video where Fran explains the idea behind Glee. So I guess it's good. It's gonna be a good starter. Because I think, especially in case of Glee, it's good to know the motivation and the vision behind the project.
Thank you. And I remember the other tool is Modelina. The other tool I'm interested in.
Yeah. So Modelina, we have one expert here, the main maintainer of Modelina. I could share some more details, but I guess Jonas wants to share more as an expert.
I'm sorry, there's a lag here. Did you ask me?
No, I'm just calling out Jonas that is on this meeting, so he can share more details.
So yeah,
All right.
I mean, I can join tomorrow as well for the contributors first if you want, so we can discuss it more in depth there, both how to contribute, but also like how's the module or how's the library set up, what's the what's it called, what's the roadmap, and etc. And I can do it for both Glee and Modelina because I did a little bit of work there as well. And it all comes down to what you want to work with, basically. Do you want to work on the generator sides, providing more output languages, or do you want to support more input? Like, where is your, like, where do you want to, or what is your passion for that specific area you want to contribute to?
Yeah, I think Deven is answering also. He's interested in generator, and actually I'm interested in both, in the validating and generators, because it is tightly related to the ideas I contribute with. For example, the single schema dictionary it built. Yeah, it's really related with that idea, and actually with having a different reference meta schema is also so related, because it would be, I think I could add somehow, well, these functionalities to Modelina, or maybe start a new tool, and I'm actually thinking it through.
Yeah, so I think it would be, do you have time to come to the contributors meeting tomorrow? Contributors first meeting? One of them?
Sure. Please, if you could please send me DM in Slack, that would be excellent to show me the meeting details, please.
I think we have, do we have an issue for it, Lucas, somewhere for the contributors first? Yeah?
No, I did not yet plan to do it the same way as we do it with SIG meetings, but definitely, I mean, I can share the link later offline as well on Slack. I know where to find you folks, where to send links. But yeah, just the most important is to agree that we will do it tomorrow on the contributor first meeting. I guess the session in the afternoon European time, which means morning US and other America countries, right? You can join, Jonas, it's 4 p.m. UTC.
Both times actually, so it doesn't matter for me.
I mean, I think it's good if we do it just one session, or you think you're gonna talk a lot. So like, let's say one day, one session is Glee and the other one is Modelina. How you prefer? How do you think? Is 1 hour enough for both? I guess it should be enough, right?
I guess it depends, yeah, a lot. So I have no idea, but it was more like, it doesn't matter for me if it's in the afternoon or if it's in the morning. Yeah.
And then just to clarify, Irmin is in Mexico, so most likely I know I'm speaking for him, but I think he might be around Mexico City or so. So then he's probably like going to join this time of the contributor meeting. The other time will be too early for him. It'll be like 1 or 2 a.m. So you'd probably only get live questions from him in the second meeting.
But yeah. And we have it for the next 3 weeks, each Wednesday as well.
Yeah, so we can do it again then later.
And it's same for you. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right. Deven? Is it Deven Phillips? Yeah. So if you want to join one of the others, we can schedule that as well.
It's pronounced Deven, and thank you. I will try to join one as soon as possible, but tomorrow I have to sit on promotion panels.
No worries. Those sessions are also recorded, so if the recording is not enough, as Jonas said, we can repeat it. It shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so so Jonas, we will continue tomorrow discussion. Maybe I will learn something.
Yeah, definitely be there.
Okay,
thank you.
Awesome. So next topics then, or anyone has more questions about this contribution? And when also like Deven, you also wrote in the chat about Quarkus and Vert.x. I definitely haven't seen anyone. At least I'm not sure I know what Quarkus is, but Vert.x, I haven't seen anyone yet contributing any tool around the Vert.x library. So
So Quarkus is another Java runtime supported by Red Hat. It's basically a microprofile implementation that uses GraalVM to do native compilation.
And Vert.x, isn't it Scala related?
Vert.x has polyglot capabilities, which include Scala, but it is Java first and supports JavaScript, Java, Scala, Kotlin, Groovy, and I think it still supports JRuby and Jython as well.
Okay. Then, I mean, at AsyncAPI initiative, we accept any contributions really. I think it's like the definition here is like at the end, it's community that decides if a given tool is useful or not, and not just single people from the initiative. So the best way first, if you have some specific ideas, put them in the discussion section that I shared the link earlier in the chat to check if anyone will catch up and start some discussion, and then let's see from there where it goes. But you can also choose different path from me. It's just a suggestion.
Just from my perspective, to give a little context, I have been contributing to and implementing the generators for OpenAPI generator for Vert.x and Quarkus. I would like to try to see if we can achieve something similar for AsyncAPI.
Just important to notice is that in case of AsyncAPI, the code generator that we have here, it's written in JavaScript.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So yeah, okay.
JavaScript is fine. TypeScript is fine.
Awesome. Then
Question.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, jump in, Alejandra.
So for the contributor first meetings, are contributor first meetings and the meetings that we have today, SIG meetings, are they both in one single calendar? And so if somebody from a community like Irmin, for example, were to ask me, hey, how do I easily join the contributor first meetings? Are they both in the same calendar? I feel like it's a silly question, but I don't know why I got confused.
So yes, like short answer, yes, it's same calendar. I shared the link in the I mean, I can actually share it now in the chat. But yeah, it's a single calendar. And yeah, the generator, the code generator, like you don't also have to join the contributor first session to learn more about code generator. We also talked in the past about it on the very first meeting of contributor first, on the very first meeting of contributor first meeting. Beautiful. But yeah, anyway, we discussed code generator in many different places already in the past. So there are many people already know it. We have some code generators already in place. So the community is pretty large here. So feel free to ask also on Slack if you want, or just Twitter, just ping us anywhere. And yeah, we're always happy to help.
Alejandra, I'm gonna ping you about the calendar because I have a need to make sure. I want to be able to tell a story on a blog post about here's all of the events for AsyncAPI and here's the one calendar where you go to learn about them all. So I'm going to go through all the calendar events in the calendar and kind of make sure that they speak to whatever the event is, and then we have that kind of overview snapshot, because I think that first impression of the calendar is pretty important for people who are just learning. And so anyways, I'll hit you on Slack.
Awesome. And like from my side, I would love to get some feedback, like what's the best way really to share this information, because we have some information on the landing page. For the public meetings, we have those issues that we create for every meeting, but we don't really know which solution is the best. Nobody ever told us like, yeah, you do it right or you do it wrong. So feel free to share.
Yeah, and it's hard to know. I mean, so I would say just having the calendar up to date and then having the GitHub issue, I think is the best minimum bar for it. But I think regularly we can be doing blog posts and just kind of auditing it to make sure that it's up to date and it makes sense to new people who maybe haven't seen what's going on. Because we're experiencing this in JSON schema community and the Open API community as well. Is there's a lot of new events, new things going on, and the people running them are like, I ask them, how do I get involved? And they're like, you just ask. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's easier said than done. But so yeah, I'll provide feedback. Definitely. Thank you.
And this is making me think from what Kinlane just said, that I should update the README that we have for the link that Jonas just shared, because it just has a very generic meetings, and then it mentions, join and check our calendar. But now that we have, new meetings, like Ken just pointed out, and people are going to be asking about this, if we update the README, then people will know about the different meetings and events that they can join as a community. So I should also do that.
Thank you. I assume it's the end of the topic for contributor first meeting, or anyone has something more to add?
Canela had a lot of questions. She's still not clear on, how dogs can get involved.
Feel free.
I'll send them offline in Slack.
Okay, so I guess the next two topics, the best if David, you're going to introduce, and I will just, would you, I bet, it's not the smartest question from my side. I'm pretty sure you want to share a screen, right? So I will.
I can do, yeah.
I mean, you don't have to, but I assume that if you want to talk about landing page, you want to share.
Yeah, I can do.
Okay,
cool.
now you're a co-host, so you should be able to do it. I stop screen sharing and
cool.
So just for others, for context, like there are two additional topics on the agenda suggested by David. One is about landing page, and here we go.
Yeah, just give some context really. So coming at AsyncAPI, fairly new, and it's I guess it's just the fresh eyes on the project. And I remember a few months ago, I was looking over at AsyncAPI, and I was kind of trying to figure out. I think it's just the initial trying to figure out what it does for me, right? Whereas, like, I think you've got like, I don't know, especially tooling for me, I guess, but I think a lot of people, is you that initial like 30 seconds to grab someone, that initial 1 minute to grab someone before they're gone. So what is AsyncAPI? So last week I was just spent some time on the website, just making some pull requests and some idea generation and stuff around. There's one in particular. I guess we'll bring that to the meeting now to see what people think. But on other open source tools, the general flow tends to be, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think the general flow is like the headline and then the why, right? Why should you invest your time clicking a link or reading about this, or why should you use this? And I think at the moment, as we've got, so this is the pull request that's open at the moment. So we have the animation on the website. So you go down and you have the animation. The animation just is a file, and you can see it doing some fancy stuff. And then it goes out into join our community and everything else like that, which is fine. But there's still, for me anyway, there's still no reason why should I do this? And I think that's the bit that the pull request added. So why AsyncAPI, and some key points really. I kind of made these up. I took docs from the website and just added them there. but that was kind of a general gist. And I think on the pull request, we were talking about a few things. I think you can see it if you go to the website project and have a look at this pull request. Again, it was just an idea, and then we had some back and forth between it. I guess it was just going out to community really and just seeing what people thought. So for me, as I guess in quotes, fresh pair of eyes on AsyncAPI, I didn't see that much value in the animation, but I would, again, this is just personal preference. I want to know why. I would want to know why first. So I would like to see the headline and then the caption of why I should bother continue reading, and click on some links and do that if I want to, and then maybe go down to the animation and who's using it. That was kind of it. So I know Lucas, you got some. You had some thoughts, which I think they're right too. Which is okay. Should we? I need to read your latest one. I've not done that yet. But should we just make the changes and just go for it, or maybe we should try and see the data and see if anyone's actually reading this, or are people dropping off because they don't understand? But I guess maybe the initial question is if anyone's even that bothered or interested. What do people think of the animation? Do you think having a Y up the top is more valuable than the animation straight away?
I really am excited to share an opinion. You know, I'm full of opinions. Okay, so I'm actually really excited that David brought this up. So I'm new to the community too, right? I only joined the community and the team a little over a month ago now. So as a beginner to this technology and as a new person to this community, when I went to the main site, AsyncAPI.com, I was very confused about what this technology did. And I felt that the website didn't really teach me what it did. When I saw the animation, which I liked the animation, I thought it was something very simple and basic, the async API, because I thought the animation is just showing me a spec file. So I guess all you can do is just like maybe configure some spec files. Okay, I just kind of assumed that it only did like a few things. Like it probably just does like a few events or some messages. I did not realize that there was a bigger power behind it and that it was about configuring an entire application until after I had spent a long time trying to understand the docs. And I think that for people that are new, and if we want to like make the site better for inclusion and diversity and bringing different kinds of people into this technology area, that we want to really think about how we can be as educational as possible, I guess, if that makes sense. So I think I'm not going to give an opinion about whether or not we should have an animation where it should be on the page. I don't think I'm the person to give an opinion on that. But I do think that we need to add a section kind of like what David is proposing, because that would have helped clarify to me as a beginner what the hell async API is. And then I would have better understood in my mind where to start learning and where I wanted to dive deep. So that's my opinion. I'll let other people talk now.
Cool.
So I'll amplify what I think Alejandra is saying there, in that I've been speaking at conferences for 3-4 years now about OpenAPI, trying to tell people why it's useful, and they do a terrible job of that. Their specification starts with, here's our terminology of should, would, like an IEEE spec. And I was like, that's terrible. And people just don't get it until they see you demonstrate some of the tooling around it, how you can do automated testing, how you can do some code generation, how you can do validation, how you can document things very easily. And I think we should make that very clear early on in a person landing on the website.
Yeah, I'll just amplify that as well. Both of the previous speakers, this is Jessie. yeah, I mean, the utility of it is much greater than you could ever express with this, the lines of code. Either you are really complex and you sort of overwhelm people with the details of an actual spec, or like Alejandra was saying, you don't show everything that's possible. So I do think that making the case via business value would be a really great addition. And I also think that there's probably some implications for search engine placement, that the animation probably isn't particularly well indexed by search engines. And so getting those prominent terms closer to the top would probably give a boost.
Just reading the comments. Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just have a lag and sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine.
But I was gonna add that I have been troubling with giving the scenario on what it is event-driven architecture, even to technical guys. So what have helped me with, as someone recently said, what have helped me with is to give some facts about it, some business scenario, and some business case scenario, or some business scenarios where we have achieved that kind of connection. For example, for IoT, for example, for notification of events, and how this will help, or how this helped to any organization into their engagement with their client. For example, when I was working for an organization a few years ago, we had this increment of engagement with the client using events, and that helped us a lot to improve our communication with them, and I think this will help a lot, not even the technical guys, but to the people that are not technical, into how this will help them. And maybe this also will promote the participation in more broader areas.
Yeah, I think there's some. I'm just reading the comments too. It looks like there's also a lot of support for this idea, or just a landing page in general, I think. But maybe something we could do is how do people think? What do people think about this? But if we create a discussion on GitHub for landing page value or landing page ideas or something like that, we can start generating some ideas as a community, and then take it from there. And then once we've got these ideas and discussions, we can figure out how we could incorporate them in what we've got, or do we need to, is it more of a bigger review? I don't know. But there's some good ideas going around for sure.
I have a question. I thought that this was for the homepage. So am I following you correctly that now you're thinking about a small addition to the homepage, but also a landing page, or did I mishear?
I think I'm not sure. I think at the moment, I think that the homepage is the landing page, is it, or are there separate things? I don't know. Is AsyncAPI.com?
Well, a landing page is usually like something for marketing, where you create extra pages that you add, so that people will land on this page for a specific event. So sorry, I got confused. So now I understand that you've been speaking about the homepage this entire time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'll create a discussion. I don't think we'll solve anything now, but I'll create a discussion, and then it sounds like I've got some good ideas, and then people can contribute. I'll share the link on Slack and just come contribute some thoughts, and we'll take it from there. And if anyone's got anything else to add on that before we move on.
No, I mean, so definitely create discussion, but I see that everyone really, I mean, on the PR level and also here, everyone agrees that we have to have this good section about what is AsyncAPI. So just to make sure, like you're not thinking about abandoning the PR in favor of the discussion. You want to like continue to things in parallel, right?
We can get the PR in.
Yeah,
I think it sounds like it. And then we'll carry on the discussion. I think there's other things we can. I think there's more things we can do by the sounds of it, and more things we can explore. Yeah,
the only issue, challenge, problem, however we phrase it properly, with the PR is, sorry, is the location of the sections, right? So nobody objects, including me, to have a new section. The only issue I see in the PR is that we want to change the locations without really knowing if it's gonna bring any effect, any good effect or not, because we can't at the moment measure. We don't have Google Tag plugged into buttons, so we don't know like if after moving the animation from top to the bottom, people will stop actually exploring playground or not, because we can't measure it. So we definitely have to continue with the what is AsyncAPI and just focus now on what content we want to have there.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
So something to help us in our quest to figuring out whether or not the animation should go above or below that new section. I told David that we should check out what other open source projects are doing in their sites. So for example, if we go to Rust, and I'll just like put the link in there. I go to Rust and immediately they start with why Rust, explaining the value proposition of this new technology. And if we went to Python and others, I have a feeling that we'll start seeing that too. So maybe we can look at what other open source projects are doing in their websites and where they added that why this technology, and maybe that can help us. I don't know, just an idea.
Yeah. Like the most important is like really not where to put it, like, but then after time, if we can say it was a good location or not. So that's the only thing because it's like when I take a look on Rust's website, like it's great that I see it in the middle. If I would see animation and would have to scroll down, I wouldn't see a big difference. You know what I mean? Like I don't really know if they do any measurements, like if it's really making sense for them. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm pushing so much for Google Tags to actually like start, because now we have a good community. Like we can have this open discussion here on Slack. We can on Zoom. We can also have discussion on Slack. We have lots of followers on Twitter, so we can ask directly people. But as I stated in the PR, like we just have like when we do direct feedback discussions, we only take a like really small portion of the community. While we have like I checked like 80,000 visits on the landing page, so it would be nice to like have two different set of data that we can compare and make decisions. So that's the only thing I would like to just make sure that we follow in the future. That's it. But yeah, we should definitely sorry,
I think I was curious, do we have the ability to create a second homepage and then we can conduct A/B testing and see with Google Analytics which people stayed longer on one version of the homepage? Maybe see if in which version of the homepage did they scroll to the bottom, what got clicked most on those versions. Because I used to do that back when I worked in SEO, where I would create two versions of the homepage for an account client, and then we would track which ended up getting more, sorry, what's the word? I forgot the word in English. Which one had more clicks and stuff like that, time on page. Do we have the ability to do something like that? Do some maybe testing with two homepages? We could send half our traffic with Google Analytics to version 1 and then the other half to the other version of it.
I think we're using Netlify, which is a static site generator, and I'm not sure if it's possible with Netlify.
We should probably ask Sergio, because if anybody knows without checking the documentation,
What
he's
Sergio just
probably
left.
exactly.
That's something to check. But wouldn't it affect the SEO?
No.
Okay, that's good. That's good to hear then. I mean, so now we have two solutions. Like we either just add some additional Google Analytics tags, or go forward with like alternative web landing pages.
I stand corrected. Netlify does have split testing. I put a link in the sidebar.
Sweet. That's so exciting to me. I think that could really help us.
We just need to confirm if it's for free for open source. But yeah, awesome if it's possible. Great.
Cool. Okay.
So I guess that it means like we go with discussions, we go with what is AsyncAPI anyway. We want to have it on the website in parallel, and the whole discussion about where we place what and how we change things. It's a separate issue. We just need to agree how we want to do it technically, and not just technically. But yeah, anyway, sounds good.
Cool.
We have 4 more minutes for the last topic.
Okay. I think that's my topic, isn't it? Again.
Yep.
I think it was just a quick one. There is an issue open. You can follow. Share my screen again. I've got Rust website up now. This one here. So I created a discussion around a UI to design your architecture. So again, coming at AsyncAPI kind of fairly new. It was the idea of how can we have a lot of tooling on the back end of it all, on like if you've got your AsyncAPI file and you can do all this stuff. But what about like defining the API up front itself? Is there any tooling, or is there anything we can do there? And as part of event discovery and event documentation and everything else like that, teams tend to go, or some teams tend to go through a process where they talk about events, they try and define a schema, they try and do this stuff, and they do it in tools like Miro and other tools that you can get. But just toying with the idea at the moment, which is why couldn't you have a tool where you could do this in real time and then export straight to AsyncAPI? I know Solus have something very similar to that, where you can kind of export files and various other things. And that was kind of it. I'm toying, again, I'm playing around with it at the moment, but this is an example. This takes the AsyncAPI file and like generates the nodes. So you can immediately kind of see, I quite like visual stuff. So you can immediately see, okay, what can I do to this application? I can publish some events and I can also subscribe to some events. So how do you scale that out, and how can I export that out? Or how could I use this kind of tool to generate the spec file in general? Sorry, kids are back. Close the door before they start screaming. And that's it. So if you're interested in any of that, or any thoughts around that, if you come to discussion, there's some some good stuff already on here. But I think from what I've spoke to a few people already about it, and I definitely it feels like there's a need for this. It feels like there is value here to be able to one, create the AsyncAPI file, but two, to be honest, is just visually see an AsyncAPI file. Just drag it in and just see, what can I do? What can I publish? What channels can I subscribe to? What does this thing do? Without going through the document itself and trying to work out, okay, you can do it, but I'm lazy, so I like to see boxes and pretty things. So that's the 4 minutes. I'll stop sharing, but I don't know if anyone's got anything on that. Just
So David, I would love to see something like that. Since the start of the pandemic, we've been unable to really run effective event storming efforts with our customers. And having something like that would be phenomenal. Plus, we would be able to capture it digitally, and then the added value of being able to turn it into an AsyncAPI spec. It's just, I'm drooling over that idea.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, to be fair. And then you could generate your code bindings, anything, because once you've got the spec file, you can use everything else, the generators, things like that. I think there's also ideas where, I guess, where does it stop? But why couldn't you turn that into, if you already mapped it out, and let's say it was a WebSocket server, why couldn't you use the UI to send test events to this thing? Why couldn't this thing itself spawn up the server?
Absolutely. I'm actually an avid user of Apicurio. I don't know if you're familiar with that tool for OpenAPI, but like in Apicurio, you could take an example JSON object, plop it into their little thing, and it will generate the JSON schema. And then you can also have it generate the CRUD operations for your OpenAPI spec. So if we could do something similar for AsyncAPI, where you either give it an example JSON object and it tries to interpret what the JSON schema for that should be, and then gives you options for wiring that JSON schema to a message bus or a messaging endpoint or something like that. That would be really powerful.
Yeah. If you, Deven, if you could, when you get time, if you could go to the discussion and post the links to the tools and what you just said, that'd be helpful. That'd be really cool.
There's one more thing I would like to add here.
Sure.
We already talked about this, and maybe we could improve our promotion of the methods of how to approach to AsyncAPI, by being maybe an event storming method promoter, and maybe this would link also to the homepage revision notifications that we spoke earlier already. And maybe I can help you with this. I've also guided through some event storming meetups and sessions, and that would be great if we can link async with, I mean, if we can put it in the minds of the people, with async links to event storming, that's for me, that would be for me a good goal. And yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, it'd be good. Yeah, it's just come on discussion, share some ideas. As you said, I guess event storming is just one idea, but yeah, I've been through it. I've been through the event storming process, yeah, and it's kind of like, if I could have value off the back of that process instantly in an AsyncAPI file and have all the tooling, it's like extra bonus. It's like, that's it, isn't it? Because at the moment, what tends to happen is we do our events, we storm, and then it's all just gone. It's like print it off, give it to a developer, and good luck. Go build some events and some systems. Whereas,
or worse, you're like me and I have big rolls of butcher paper with event storms on them.
Yeah. So yeah, so I think that's just it. Summarize that really, but come along to the discussion, and I posted a video on the tooling Slack channel. So if you guys, if anyone wants to watch that, just some ideas and whatever else.
Thanks a lot. I also pasted a link to the discussion in the chat, and unfortunately it's 7:04, at least for me, which means like 4 past the scheduled time of the meeting. I guess some of you have to jump to another meetings, so we're gonna have to finish for today. Next time we meet in 2 weeks, in the morning, for Europe, which means it's 8 a.m. UTC. So not very nice timing for Americas, but much nicer for Asia and Pacific. And then in 4 weeks, we meet again in the afternoon. Until then, Twitter, Slack, LinkedIn, wherever you want, join us and talk to us. Muchas gracias. Thank you. Dziękuję. Trzymajcie się.
Bye-bye.